it's a really interesting question. I think there's so much promise with AI and creativity, and I think about how we can scale the impact of design within the client organizations in which we work and even within our own organization. But if we look backwards at where a lot of technology has gone, especially social media and data usage, I think we would have done things differently if we had designed that future with a little bit more intention. So I think it's an interesting space for us to contemplate as design leaders in this space of how do we responsibly use and consider an emerging technology for the betterment of the craft and the work that we do and the impact we can have on client organizations. But keeping in mind, what are the maybe unintended outcomes that we don't want, and how do we design backwards from that to make sure that we're doing this in a very responsible way, both for the creators and for the organizations in which we're working, including ourselves. Maybe a practical design improvement is leveraging things like AI. So I've heard some of our design team in San Francisco is using generative AI as part of the mood board development. I thought that was really interesting. That seems like a very practical improvement of having to do a lot of generative ideation on something that is informing ideas. If there's technology we can use that sort of shortcuts that process for us so that we can get to the place where we are actually ideating around opportunity spaces quicker, I think that's a very practical improvement. I think another very practical thing that Frog is doing and can do more of is prototyping ideas. So instead of ending a program with a beautiful deck and a narrative and a story, ending that with a prototype and bringing that tangible experience to life more quickly for key stakeholders and customers to make sure that we're delivering something that's more tangible. I think it means the same thing it always has in the history of Frog, which is we need to think about what are the innovations we need now, but also what are we forecasting in the next decade or beyond, and how do we help our clients and society and people start to envision a world that's different from today. So if you think about the early days of Frog, the through line to today is we worked with Steve Jobs to help launch the Apple IIc, the first personal computer. And that happened within a couple of years of working together, commercializing an existing technology. But then at the time, we were also designing things like a tablet, a watch, a phone, things that didn't come to market for 2 decades later. And so it's this idea of like bimodal innovation. I think that's the thing that we are still doing and should continue to do, which is what do we need to bring to market today that solves a real tangible need, but also how do we anticipate based on socioeconomic, technology, trends, where things are going, and how might we put a pin in the future and provoke the thinking around a product, a service, an idea. What might the world be like if it isn't anything like it is today? What might we need in 20 years? You might get it wrong, but you also might get it right.